It is it's the afternoon at noon, right?
Oh, no, not
I
16.
think it's at.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
I
that's
looked at
my,
it.
but I missed. Oh,
We
I
can
saw
catch
it.
up
That's
online.
big
We're on
dog,
chapter 26.
Yeah. I'll be back.
26. It's been interesting. So we're starting at 26. The last few chapters, though, were like way different than the rest of the verses. So now we're in a different kind of pattern in Proverbs. More poetic, wouldn't you say? Kind of more poetic in a sense. So yeah. Well, pretend you're on the beach.
I was in a fish bookstore one time, and this lady was standing there, one of these old great big wire things full of bookmarks and all this stuff,
Mhm.
and she backed right into it and stuff fell all over the place.
Oh
And across from one different one over here, and she said, "I'm so sorry, I was backing up to get a closer look." Closer look. Oh, that makes sense to me.
no. Right. Yeah.
I was backing up.
At the grocery store, I stand back to see I'm there, and people say, "Oh, excuse me, I'm standing in front of you. Can't see them." So now we're in the wisdom for leaders.
Wisdom from leaders, and right off the bat, we're gonna get the word snow again. Last time we heard about snow, and everyone like, it snows over there. I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, if it gets cold enough, it will snow.
Probably doesn't stay there.
The what?
No, it's sign of
Oh, in the
elevations.
mountains.
of
Yeah,
places.
yeah. Well, it snows in Lebanon, so it's Lebanon is the country north of Israel and Palestine. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'll begin. Like snow in summer or rain in harvest, so honor is not fitting for a fool. Like a sparrow in its fitting, like a swallow in its flitting, like a sparrow in its flitting, like a swallow in its flying. An undeserved curse goes nowhere. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Do not answer fools according to their folly, or you will be a fool yourself. Answer fools according to their folly, or they will be wise in their own eyes. It's like cutting off one's foot and drinking down violence to send a message by a fool. The legs of a disabled person hang limp, so does a proverb in the mouth of a fool. It is like binding a stone in a sling to give honor to a fool. Like a thorn bush brandished by the hand of a drunkard is a proverb in the mouth of a fool. Like an archer who wounds everybody is one who hires a passing fool or drunkard. Take it away. 11.
Returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly.
This, Pastor did that the other day. He was hysterical.
Yes, I know.
Pastor stood up and then ate.
Yeah, I know. That dog. Yeah.
What am I on now?
12.
Wise in his own eyes. There is more hope for a fool than for him. The lazy man says there's a lion in the road. A fierce lion is in the streets. As a door turns on its hinges, so does the lazy man on his bed. Go ahead.
People take it in their hand, but don't even lift it to their mouth. Lazy people consider themselves smarter than the 7 wise counselors. Interfering in someone else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ears. Just as damaging as a madman shooting a deadly weapon is someone who lies to a friend and then says, I was only joking.
Mm,
Fire goes out without wood, and quarrels disappear when gossip stops. A quarrelsome person starts fights as easily as hot embers light charcoal or fire lights wood. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. Smooth words may hide a wicked heart, just as pretty glaze covers a clay pot. Okay, one more.
An enemy dissembles in speaking while harboring deceit within. When an enemy speaks graciously, do not believe it. For there are 7 abominations concealed within, though hatred is covered with guile. The enemy's wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on the one who starts it rolling. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin.
whew.
Boy, these are harder to understand.
I know, right? More
Yeah.
poetic. Yeah, more poetic than anything. I think the first one that I was one of the ones that I read, I was like, I kind of got it. Do not answer fools according to their folly, or you will be a fool yourself. Basic, what came into my mind was like, like take the high road in a
Mhm.
sense,
Yeah.
in dealing with people, I guess. I was like, that kind of sounds what it's conveying. In our Luther Bible study, the pamphlet, it highlighted verses 13 through 16, and they summarize it as just don't be lazy.
Mhm.
And here are some put downs of laziness or sloth, as the older versions put it. Here is a person who will not work because of imagined dangers outside. Another who won't get out of bed, revolving like a swinging gate. Another who is too lazy to feed himself. And finally, one who has inflated ego. These writers were not without a sense of humor. So,
What about, you mentioned this number 4,
mhm,
like Gordon said, we shouldn't take a foolish person seriously and try to reason with his or her empty arguments. This will only make him or her proud
right.
and determined to win the argument. I read something just yesterday about to the fact that if I walk away from you during an argument about something like this, it doesn't mean that you won. It means that it's not worth arguing about. or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah. Right.
It's not,
Yeah.
They say pick your battles.
it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, and take the, yeah.
Verses 4 and 5 suggest that there are times to ignore fools and times to challenge.
Mm.
That's what the commentary.
Trusting a fool to convey a message is like cutting off one's foot or drinking poison.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another interesting one, right? Mm.
It says it's like binding a stone in a sling to give honor to a fool. I thought about that as it was being read, and I thought, binding a stone in a sling. It'd be like catching it in there so it
That's
can't
what
go.
it tells
Yeah,
that in
and
here.
that's where I was
Yeah.
going. And on the side, did you read that before?
Just now. I
Oh,
read it
okay.
before
All
you
right, that's
started.
very interesting.
Yeah.
That it would come back and hit the person.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
That if
yeah.
you're stupid, you bind it in there, it's gonna come back and get you.
Oh.
Being more foolish than you might think.
Mhm.
It says these sayings are put together in a humorous sequence.
Well, humor does help, right? Yeah, these are very more poetic, it's like, and what do you, I think a good way to read these verses and take them is to kind of analyze them for yourselves and what it means. What do you glean from them? You know, I don't think you're supposed to cut off your foot, you know, things like that. um, any other thoughts, or you were like, this is interesting?
Contradicts itself. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin. They both
False.
evidently are negative, but a lying
Flatter
tongue and a
falsely.
flattering mouth seems to be opposite. I mean, it says a lying tongue hates its victims, that's negative, and then a flattering mouth works ruin. Does that mean flattering beyond what it should be when you're flattering somebody that,
Yeah, you see
Doesn't-
something that's false.
yeah, maybe that's it.
I think,
And I thought that doesn't jive.
yeah. I mean, a lying tongue hates its victims. I can
That makes
kind of
sense.
understand
Yeah.
that. But the flattering tongue, when you were reading it, and the image that comes to my mind is like a salesman that, you know, is trying to sell something that doesn't
Oh, I
work.
see.
You know, that's what I guess what I
Yeah.
thought is flattering, not something that's like supposed to be the best of the best.
It's not like it. Your hair looks nice.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's something I think that would be good to say.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I was thinking.
But
when
I
looked
think what
at
they're,
it.
yeah, I mean,
I have to tell you number 22 from the message. Listening to gossip is like eating cheap. You want junk like that in your belly.
oh, interesting.
Well, I think this is- if people enjoy reading, it's a whole lot better than not reading it at all.
Right. Oh, 26.
Another
Oh.
good one. Malice backfires, spite boomerangs.
You gotta think about
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, you were talking about flattery?
Flattering, yeah.
Flatterers sabotage trust.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Sabotage what?
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Flatterers
Sabotage
sabotage trust. So don't tell me my hair looks good.
Kathy, it doesn't look good today. I noticed that.
Getting a haircut tomorrow.
I know,
Yeah. Smooth
Do not
talker.
tell me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, it's the Hebrew halach, and it's smooth, like a smooth
Oh.
talker. So that makes
That
sense.
doesn't necessarily sound as attractive as
Flattering, right? That so yeah, like a salesman that's trying to sell
Mhm.
something that doesn't work. That makes sense. You had something, right?
Chapter 20, I was reading down here, for the lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there's no whisper or quarreling ceases. Yeah, decide if you don't gossip, if you don't pass something on, it's like playing that game telephone.
Yep.
It just stops. Make it stop with me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. It's a good thing to take. Anything else? Oh, should we go on to 27? Oh, go ahead. Uh-oh, in 27 or 20?
25.
Oh, There you go.
All those people off the street that you said, also be a compliment. And he
Yeah.
mentioned it in the line. I thought it says. When an enemy, where is it? I lost it. When an enemy speaks gracious. Okay.
But you have to determine who's an enemy.
Lost them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's that saying? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. There you go.
Gosh, maybe we ought to talk about that.
All right. Well, 27. How about 27? Who ended
I
26?
ended.
Okay, you
No,
want
that's
you want to
fine,
begin? Yeah. Okay.
Not boast about your normal. No. Right. Let another praise you, and not your own mouth. Stranger, and not your own lips. The stone is heavy, and sand is weighty, but a fool's provocation is heavier than both. Wrath is cruel, anger is overwhelming, but who is able to stand before jealousy? Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Well meant are the words of a friend. Oh, I'm sorry. Well meant are the wounds a friend inflicts, but profane are the kisses of an enemy. Refuse. I don't want to read them up. The sated appetite spurns honey, but to a ravenous appetite, even bitter is sweet. Like a bird that strays from its nest is one who strays from home. I read that wrong again, didn't I? See, like I told you, I can't get far enough away to say this. Like a bird that strays from its nest is one who strays from home. Perfume and incense make the heart glad, but the soul is torn by trouble.
My turn. Do not forsake your friend or the friend of your parent. Do not go to the house of your kindred on the day of your calamity. Better a neighbor who is nearby than kindred who are far away. Be wise, my child, and make my heart glad, so that I may answer whoever reproaches me. The clever see danger and hide, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Take the garment of one who has given surety for a stranger. Seize the pledge given as surety for foreigners. Whoever blesses a neighbor with a loud voice rises early in the morning will be counted as cursing. Rising early in the morning will be counted as cursing. A continual dripping on a rainy day and a contentious wife are alike.
I love this contentious woman or like this wife thing. This is great.
I know. To restrain her is to restrain the wind or to grasp oil in the right hand. Iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens the wits of another. Anyone who tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, and anyone who takes care of a master will be honored. You want to finish that one?
Sure, sure. Just as water reflects the face, so one human heart reflects another. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and human eyes are never satisfied. The crucible is for silver, and the furnace is for gold. So a person is tested by being praised. Crush a fool in a mortar with a pestle, along with crushed grain, but the folly will be driven out. Know well the condition of your flocks, and give attention to your herds. For riches do not last forever, nor a crown for all generations. When the grass is gone and new growth appears, and the herbage of the mountains is gathered, the lambs will provide your clothing, and the goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and the nourishment of your servant girls. Okay, all right, take note of that, I guess, yeah. Anything interesting or kind of, that you're like, I got that, I know what that means?
boast about tomorrow,
Oh.
for you do not know what a day may bring.
Mhm.
What do other versions say instead of boast?
Do not boast, yeah.
Don't rashly announce what you're going to do tomorrow. You don't know the first thing about tomorrow.
Yeah,
You know, don't brag about tomorrow.
don't worry,
Don't
right?
brag.
Don't break about tomorrow.
You don't know what the day will bring.
Right, yeah. That's true. And,
What's that saying about, can't remember exactly how it goes, but something about, God, your plans and God's plans,
Oh,
or
yeah.
what does that say? I can't think of how it goes.
Don't tell God about your plans or something like that. Sure.
It is better if others boast about you.
I thought 5 is interesting. Better is open rebuke than hidden.
Yeah, that is, that's interesting.
Your friend are better than many kisses from an enemy.
Love must be active, not hidden. For Frank. So out of love, you can say some bad things.
Well, what's
Yeah. Well meant by the words of friends.
it's interesting. So the word, the Hebrew word for boast is halal, and it actually like means shine. So don't or shine or praise. It's interesting. That's a very interesting word to have, like boast, shine, and praise. It kind of comes from like hallelujah, but that's interesting, isn't it?
For it is going like a bird that strays from its nest is one who strays from home. What? Like a
Yeah, I
bird
don't get that one
strays-
either.
Oh, I see. Like a bird that strays from its nest is like a person who strays from its home. They're not talking about a bird in the second line again. They didn't.
James says, as a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place.
Yeah, they didn't clarify what
You
that.
know,
Hmm.
all the different translations.
Yeah.
People who won't settle down, wandering hither and yon, are like restless spirits.
Hmm. So basically, I guess from all the different, I love that we read from different like versions of the Bible, but it sounds like be grounded, know your grounding, because this is all about learning, and we're learning from God's wisdom and wisdom herself, and which stems from the laws, which stems from with the purpose of humanity, which is community and things like that. So
Not go to
mm,
the day of your calamity.
And a
Not
brother
that
far
fucking
away.
family.
So
If they were talking, yeah, if they were talking about it, yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
Somebody who
Number
lives
10.
far away, but they didn't make that clear in the middle line.
I kind of question that too, until it kind
Yeah,
of clarified it
yeah.
in part.
yeah.
And that makes sense, why put the burden on your family when you've got somebody next door that can help
They
you?
didn't know about telephones and computers.
No, they did not text back then. No.
Cause I think I called my brother Jim every time there was a big, when the Pope was shot, when Ronald Reagan was shot, when the towers came down, every time there's some big disaster, I have to call Jim.
But if Susie fell down, who would you call? Me or Ginny?
Right.
It's a good point. In fact, I do.
So there you go. Any other thoughts on 27?
I like the part about riches not lasting forever.
Yes,
Hmm.
but it's kind of nice to have some in the meantime. Oh, and I thought was interesting the way it was written. I think it's almost funny when a continual dripping on a rainy day is a kind of contentious life or a life.
Yeah, that
This
was a
makes-
nice comparison.
This makes me think of those people that only know one verse and run around telling everybody what it says in the Bible. And
Oh,
this is
yeah.
what the Bible says. They only know one verse about some far-flung thing,
Right.
and they run around telling
In the Lutheran Study Bible, it says for these 15 and 16, choose wisely. You can't reshape your spouse after marriage. Even though this passage names wife, the same can be said of a contentious husband. I mean, that's what I kind of got from there. I mean, from this whole contentious woman is like, take care of have. I mean, you're supposed to according to commandments, and when somebody is taken care of, not, I mean, you don't have to wait on them hand and foot per se, but just taken care of.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
fresh fool with a mortar, in a mortar with a pestle.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Along with crushed grain.
But the folly will not be driven out.
Have you ever crushed like herbs with a mortar?
No.
Oh my gosh, I have.
We don't-
smells good.
we just go,
Meds.
"Ah,
Press meds.
Yeah. Meds, yeah, you could do meds. I've done herbs.
yeah."
Yeah.
Now look, now
be
then you understand.
So really, you're not,
If we were using the Bible, we would have-
don't
talking
beat
about what
somebody
they
up,
do.
right? Don't beat somebody up, but teach them, direct them in the way that you're learning, like listening and taking in
Right.
the wisdom, right? Yeah. Well, how about, bless you, do you need a tissue? Should we go to 28? Or wisdom? Would you like to start, Susie, or you want me to start? Okay,
When no one pursues.
bless you.
But the righteous are bold as a lion. Because of the transgression of the land, many are princes. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain, which leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all.
Better to be poor and honest than to be dishonest and rich. Young people who obey the law are wise. Those with wild friends bring shame to their parents. Income from charging high interest rates will end up in the pocket of someone who is kind to the poor. God detests the prayers of a person who ignores the law. Those who lead good people along an evil path will fall into their own trap, but the honest will inherit good things. Rich people may think they are wise, but a poor person with discernment can see right through them.
Hmm.
12.
When the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked fail, will go into hiding. No one who conceals transgressions will prosper, but one who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Happy is the one who is never without fear, but one who is hard-hearted will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people.
Mm.
A ruler who lacks understanding is a cruel oppressor, but one who hates unjust gain will enjoy a long life. If someone is burdened with the blood of another, let that killer be a fugitive until death. Let no one offer assistance. One who walks in integrity will be safe, but whoever follows crooked ways will fall into the pit. Mary?
The one who follows worthless will have plenty of poverty. The faithful will abound with blessings. The one who is in a hurry to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, yet for a piece of bread a person may do wrong. The miser is in a hurry to get rich and does not know that loss is sure to come. Whoever rebukes a person will afterward find more favor than one who flatters with the tongue.
Anyone who robs father or mother and says that is no crime is partner to a thug. The greedy person stirs up strife, but whoever trusts in the Lord will be enriched. Those who trust in their own wits are fools, but those who walk in wisdom come through safely. Whoever gives to the poor will lack nothing, but one who turns a blind eye will get many a curse. When the wicked prevail, people go into hiding, but when they perish, the righteous increase.
All right, we did 28. What do you think? Still a lot of mention of lions, you know, like I don't think we've had a lot of lions up into those last few verses. So so that was kind of interesting. But I guess like I've only encountered a lion at a zoo, you know. So I guess for even behind pretty thick glass or out in their habitat outside, in a distance, they're powerful, they're loud, they have sharp teeth.
Like a mountain lion type thing, because I would not have known lions either.
Well, yeah, I think a little, you never know, but I would think a bobcat or something like that would be, oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's in the Horn of Africa, so, but I mean, it's not,
Could be lions at one time.
you never know. You never know if somebody took a lion to another area with, I don't know. Food.
I mean, look how you see animals here that in Wisconsin that must have come from maybe even Montana. They're
Right.
looking for a bait.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear a lion roar?
Oh, yeah.
The only time I did was we had the children, when our children were smaller, we were at the zoo in St. Paul,
Mm-hmm.
and the lion, male lion was out. And all of a sudden he stood up and he roared, and it was so loud. I can't describe how loud it was. I had never heard that before. Usually they're sleeping.
It must have been, 'cause it sure made an impact on you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the kids were scared.
In the small town that I served in, Albion, Indiana, they had what it was called Black Pine Animal Sanctuary, and it was this place that would actually take like former performance animals or if they, big animals that were accidentally pets at some times. And there was lions and bears. And so if the church to that place was like maybe 2-3 miles away, if that. And sometimes when I was walking out of the church to the office, I could hear a lion roar.
Oh, yeah.
It's that
Oh, that's
far
not
I could hear. Yep. So, and that was really neat. the claim to fame is that I think I still watch them on Facebook. They have the cockatoo from Beretta
Oh, must be getting pretty
still
old.
alive. Yeah, but he's still alive, and you can see him, you can visit him, and things like that. And they had bears, they had wolves. One of the bears just. Some of the birds live a long time. Yeah.
Yep.
About.
Yep.
It was just fascinating. Monkeys, chimpanzees, camels, ostriches. It was just so fun to go and visit this place.
How wonderful to have a place where they can be safe and well treated.
Mhm.
You know, that's the thing about zoos. Sometimes I think that's not fair to have them in those, not the cages, but even the big walk
Right,
around
right.
things. It's not fair. They should be where they should be.
Sure.
And yet, how incredible that we and the kids and everybody can actually see an elephant. Can't you see a giraffe to me is the
Yeah.
most.
Oh yeah,
incredible
isn't that
thing
neat?
Ever.
Isn't that neat?
And
Yeah.
to actually, so there's something to be said for that. It's bad that those animals have their lives.
But on the other hand, you know, they're taken care of
Yes.
and they've been there so long that, you know, like look at a panda when they
Right.
have panda cubs,
Mhm.
that's all they know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Right,
all they
right,
know.
right. They wouldn't
And
survive
they
now.
have food
That's-
and people are taking care of them
Yeah.
lovingly. I mean, you know, the people who have that work.
Well, and some of these animals are, headed for extinction,
Mhm.
and
Right.
that's saving
To
them.
breed them there.
Well, good zoos propagate them.
That's true.
That's the way.
Mhm.
So much fun during like around like end of December. They would have a fun event where they would make cardboard animals, and then they would put like raw meat in it, and it was a enrichment thing, but you can go watch like a lion
cool.
destroy a animal with meat inside of it. It was so fun.
We were watching that Crikey with the Irwins.
Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
I know had a birthday and they had like 6 good sized boxes like
Yeah.
this wrapped up in fancy paper and cardboard boxes, and inside was something the rhino loved and could smell. And they showed the rhino ripping up all these boxes and eating stuff.
It was good.
Did you ever go to Marshfield?
Yeah.
No, at Christmas time, have you?
I 2020. I was like, we have to go back there
Oh,
again.
yeah.
We gotta go back there.
It's just amazing.
The year I was so sick, right there, you and I and Cliff and Susie, were you along? I think you maybe stayed.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah, I think you and Cliff stayed in the car, but Kathy and I, and that was my first outing, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
think I hadn't gone anywhere, and that was already Christmas week, and my surgery was first week in September. So that was my first outing, and we were just gonna go and look, and we actually went out and walked around quite a bit. It was a big deal.
It's neat.
And it is a fun place to go. We
Yeah.
talked about going on this previous, was it Sunday? Because it was so beautiful out to go on the
Yeah.
night when it was 50
Walk.
degrees. That's
Right.
what you want.
Yes.
But yet, I didn't want to. I wanted to see,
Right.
to see, not.
Right.
The magic.
That's a wonderful. Oh, and it's a good cause.
Well, do we want to tackle one more? 29, 29, 30, and 31. That's it. And 29 is
No?
Yeah. Hold on.
What?
I'll leave it for a fresh day.
Or we can 29, and then we have time next time to just kind of do the whole work.
30 and 31, and then kind
Yeah.
of meld over
Yeah.
the whole book. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that.
No, we're not gonna have it.
Next week, yeah, next week I had a funeral, and then I said I rescheduled my appointment. I just can't. I can't reschedule again.
I can't go because I have. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
the
don't know
life.
what we're gonna do. We'll let you know if we need you.
Thank you. I
Okay.
just wanted you to know that.
All right.
Well, 29, let's do this, 29. You
Look
end
at
it,
you.
I end. It was me.
No,
Yes,
Start.
start.
I will start. One who is often reproved yet remains stubborn will suddenly be broken beyond healing. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. A child who loves wisdom makes a parent glad, but to keep company with prostitutes is to squander one's substance. By justice, a king gives stability to the land, but one who makes heavy exactions ruins it. Whoever flatters a neighbor is spreading a net for the neighbor's feet. In the transgression of the evil, there is a snare, but the righteous sing and rejoice. The righteous know the rights of the poor, the wicked have no such understanding. Scoffers set a city aflame, but the wise turn away wrath. If the wise go to law with fools, there is ranting and ridicule without relief. The bloodthirsty hate the blameless, and they seek the life of the upright. Pick up.
Offends all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. If a ruler pays attention to lies, all his servants become wicked. The poor man and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. The king who judges the poor with truth, his throne will be established forever. The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous will see their fall. Correct your son, and he will give you rest. Yes, he will delight to your soul.
People do not accept divine guidance, they run wild. But whoever obeys the law is joyful. Words alone will not discipline a servant. The words may be understood, but they are not heeded. There is more hope for a fool than for someone who speaks without thinking. A servant pampered from childhood will become a rebel. An angry person starts fights. A hot-tempered person commits all kinds of sin. Pride ends in humiliation, while humility brings honor. If you assist a thief, you only hurt yourself. You are sworn to tell the truth, but you dare not testify. Fearing people is a dangerous trap, but trusting the Lord means safety. Many seek the ruler's favor, but justice comes from the Lord. The righteous despise the unjust, and the wicked despise the godly.
29. Thank you. So in the study, it highlighted verse 11, which reads, a fool gives full vent to anger, but the wise quietly holds it back. In conflict situations, stay cool. This saying counsels against blowing one's top. Yep, and kind of references same chapter, verses 20 and 22. That's what I kind of got from there.
I was thinking as we were reading through it that the message of the whole Bible is take care of the poor, isn't it?
It is.
They can be poor in this or poor in that or poor in other
You
things.
know, I mean, right. And there's not just poor economically,
Yeah.
you know, it's poor in relations, it's poor in, you know, education, poor in, you know, I mean, poverty is not just a single thing.
Mm.
You know, and the other, but right. And the other thing that I kind of get from there is that, you know, you're only one person, so you can't solve all of that. And that's not what it's intended to, you know, it's not just one person who's supposed to solve all of that, but it's the community. That's why the prophets were sent to into the communities to shape them back up again, in a sense.
Yeah, when the wicked rule, the people groan. That's the same thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
The whole society.
Sure. That's, I mean, when I heard that, I was like, that still happens. That still exists. Um,
Yeah, child that loves wisdom makes a parent guide, but somebody to trust under one's substance. When you read that, I thought, what did we get from wisdom to prostitutes? It was kind of a goofy transition.
oh, sure.
But the verse says, the commentary says this particular verse is more caution to young men about sexual misadventures.
Sure.
You know, they've said all along that a lot of this is meant for young men going out and developing
Relationships,
relationships.
good
Yeah,
relationships,
right,
healthy
yeah. So this
relationships.
all makes more sense if you know a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. Okay, the message says if you love wisdom, you'll delight your parents. Destroy your trust if you're not whores. I don't think they only mean whores. I think they mean, people who aren't good.
Women are better.
Well, yeah. And again, the other version was wisdom and prostitute. So wisdom is personified as the ideal woman, the spirit of God, the all that entails, and then the exact opposite is somebody who, a woman who uses their whole being to not do good, you know.
That this whole chapter uses the word scoff so much. I don't think I ever was in
Scoff.
contact with scoff.
What's that? What verse are you like?
Well, actually, I was in 8 right now, but it comes up often.
I have,
Scoff.
I have mockers. It says mine.
Well, now I gotta look up the Hebrew for that.
Scornful,
Cynic.
scornful men.
Scoffers set a city aflame.
Mockers.
Away.
Yeah. Well, it amazes me how much, the word prostitutes and whores and everything is used in the Bible.
Well, did you? I mean, yeah. Did you know that there's
Well,
temple
there-
prostitutes in the Old
They have
Testament?
lots of trouble with
Yeah.
that.
Really, I didn't know.
That's
Temple
the reason-
prostitutes were kind of good prostitutes, and this. Oh yeah, I love teaching that in confirmation. So we learn the word prostitutes, and I teach them the Hebrew word for prostitute, the temple prostitutes, the bad prostitutes, and they're like, what?
Opposite of the cultures.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Well, and the other thing, like we've these last few chapters, we've gotten a lot about parents and family, and what always throughout this whole thing was like honor thy father and thy mother, right? That commandment. I mean, that's important in a sense, but that's another tricky one that a lot of kids will give me questions that I got to write them down and save for another time. But what if you're like, I think we brought up an example of like, what if your parents taught you how to steal? What do you do then? How do you honor them? And I said, well, you honor them, but for that example, by doing the opposite, by not stealing, by making yourself in a sense better, and growing yourself as a way of honoring. There's a lot of way, it can't, there are a lot of situations where it could be hard to understand what it means to honor your parents if they've harmed you or if they're just not good, but
Feel that right and wrong
Right.
when they're little.
Right. Sure. And I always say that you're honoring your parents when you better yourself. And that's the truth. It's the truth.
Hard to do.
Yeah, for some it really is.
And you can take care of them.
And children love their parents no matter.
Right,
what.
right. No
Their
matter how
parents are
bad
like.
they are to
Yeah.
them. Still that bond that they
Yeah.
want to please them.
Sure. Sure. That's important. Any other? All right, scoffers less own. Lots own. Lots own. Lots
That's a-
own. That's the Hebrew.
Mhm.
Scorners, scoffers, scoff. That's it.
The word that's not used real lot nowadays.
No. Any other? 29. So we'll mark it here and we'll go 30 and 31, not next week, but the week after that, maybe. I already wrote it in the newsletter that we'd meet next week, and then I totally forgot about my
So,
doctor's appointment. So December 12th, and
It's
then
a
we'll,
week of-
in the morning. That's when you're having a
That's
party.
Thursday.
Party, but that would be
that's Thursday. It's-
Monday the
the
12th.
12th, Monday, the 12th is our bridge party. That's it. Is that at 11?
Do you wanna, what should we do it then? Oh, why don't we do it at